Hi there, it's Kareem Habibi from Keeper's Nursery. I'm making a video right now about which apples you can still pick off the tree. Today is the 13th of January 2024. We've had a sort of shortish cold spell, but there's still plenty of apples to pick fresh off the tree. That's the way I like to eat apples. I'm not that big into storing apples just because I've got so many different varieties. I basically like to keep on top of what's actually ripe for picking off the tree. So we're in the southeast of England here. I think if you are in colder climates, you probably have lost all your apples by now because of the sort of freezing weather. We've had a few sort of very cold nights here, but I say very cold night, it's probably only down to about sort of -3, -4. But generally speaking, it has been quite a mild winter. Over Christmas, we were actually in the low teens most days. Recently, we've had a few sort of frozen days. Now it's picked up. It will drop down again soon, but at least it's dry, eh? So anyway, let's begin. First off, we've got here, this is quite a famous apple. This is called Gold Rush. So they actually sort of golden up when they're ripe. So generally speaking, they're kind of boring looking, green, golden deliciously looking apples. When they ripen up, they do actually sort of go a yellow color. That's the sort of tell. They start to get sort of spots on. So this is quite a nice apple off the tree at this time of the year here. So yeah, nice firm flesh. Obviously it's got kind of tough skin. It's got that classic honeyed flavor to it that you associate with a sort of golden delicious type apple when it's very ripe. All in all, it is actually improving every day. I don't know at what stage these will cease to improve. I don't think some of the green ones will continue to improve that much more. But yeah, I mean, these are great for just picking off the tree and munching. Love that. We won't try every single apple. There's a few apples here, like Femurs is still on the tree. Cibele is on the tree. I don't think these are going to be particularly nice off the tree. So whilst the apple's still on the tree, generally speaking, if you can mush the apple up like that, it's obviously past its best. It's just still hanging on. So at that stage, what happens is apples will ripen to a point where they lose all their acidity. Effectively, it's just slightly flavored water, which isn't particularly nice. These are the Merton Russets. I wonder if these are good. These Merton Russets look all right. You can tell how good an apple is also how quickly it degrades on the ground. So some of these on the ground have completely degraded. I think these might be Falstaffs or something. These were still okay on the ground, this Merton Russet. It still has an exceptional flavour to it. It is a bit soft. It's a bit like a pear, as in it sort of melts in your mouth. It has an exceptional flavour right now. Yeah, that is still very nice. I mean, I wouldn't serve it to anyone else, but I would still eat that. This is ananas rennet, so these look lovely on the tree. I mean, it's a very pretty tree to look at. You know, like, just imagine a whole sort of row of these. You just get yellow orbs all over the trees, all this bare wood. It does look very attractive. The flavour isn't amazing on these ananas rennets this year. Like, there is a very light pineapple flavour to them. Not what I would say compares to like a Pitmaster pineapple. This is Appy or lady's apple. Very small apple. Probably done this. I've probably done this the other way around from the usual way I walk through the nursery, through the mother trees. So Appys are small. So this is sort of back to front. If you've seen any of my other videos, that is improving slightly. The Appy. It's not the crispest apple. It has a strange sort of sweet slight sort of, I want to say biscuity, I don't know why. Maybe it's just the tannins in it actually, it's slightly bitter, but yeah, appy's alright. It's a fun thing to give to the kids. This is the famous Red Delicious, obviously. No points for knowing what this one is. They can taste alright. So it hasn't really lost its texture, and the flavour does improve with this apple. I mean, American viewers will obviously know what Red Delicious tastes like, but it is an unusual flavour because it's not acidic. It is sweet, but it's slightly bitter as well. A bit like the appy. Weirdly, it does remind me of childhood. Actually, I have been to America a few times, so I've got relatives in California, and this does remind me somehow of apple juice in America. You used to get these massive sort of, I don't know, they would have been in gallons or whatever. It would have at least been 2-litre bottles of juice, and it just tasted exactly of this. Very interesting. Anyway, that's Red Delicious, still on the tree in January. This is Nonpareil. So Nonpareil is a very old variety that was used to a lot of descendants like Roxbury Russet and things. It has got that sort of Cox flavour. I think it sort of predates Cox though. They are, texture-wise, they're not great. Flavour, it still has a bit of flavour, this Nonpareil. This is Allen's Everlasting. They do last on the ground actually. So not the most attractive apple in my opinion, because it's one of those that if you saw it in a hedge you'd be like, yep, typical seedling thing. I don't think the flavours on these are exceptional. Like, it is a soft apple right now. It's got thick skin as well, obviously. But it's where the skin somehow overpowers the juice, and there isn't much juice either because it sort of dries up. A lot of these apples reach a point where they sort of dry up, so in your mouth it turns to sort of apple mush, but it's not juicy apple. It's not every single bite releases more apple. It instantly turns to mush, and then you sort of feel, you taste a slight metallic skin element to it, like the apple skin is at a metallic stage. And yeah, overall, yeah, I wouldn't eat that again. Here are two commercial varieties. This load of pink on the ground is obviously Crips Pink. So Crips Pink is quite well known as it's usually sold under the name Pink Lady. These are okay on the tree right now. They are pretty, and they do actually look prettier every single day, but flavour wise, Crips Pink isn't that good here in the southeast of England. I wouldn't really bother growing it unless you want a sort of late December, January apple. We'll come to Braeburn in a sec as well. This other late season commercial apple is called Fuji. This is the Japanese sweet apple. They are big. I was reading in Joan Morgan's book recently how American and Japanese breeders keep trying to breed bigger and bigger apples. So usually apples in England weigh about sort of, I'd say a good apple's about 150 grams. These things must be closer to sort of double that, 300 grams maybe. That would be, I guess, like half a pound in American. Well, we use Imperial here as well, but I'm a bit too young for that. So these are very good at this time of the year. I've tried Fuji earlier in the year and they are useless. And right now, where I should be digging up trees actually. I've told my wife I'm going to go dig up some trees over there. Those are for orders on Monday. So I do try the apples all the time when I'm digging up trees because I literally work over there. So these apples, I frequently walk over here when I want to break, pick some apples, and then go back to work. And yeah, things like something like a Fuji like this is very, very tasty when you've been digging up trees for sort of an hour or so. It is actually at its best right now. It's very cold. I am freezing a bit, but the apple is honeyed. The skin is not overly thick, but it's very juicy, and at this time of the year, the fact that each bite releases more and more sweet juice is unusual and very good. And this is, it doesn't have acidity. I'd say, do I think this is nicer than the Gold Rush? Possibly. Possibly. It's hard to say, actually. The Gold Rush is quite nice as well. But yeah, Fuji is a good apple for a late season apple if you want to grow. And more people are buying Fuji trees from us, which is encouraging. I mean, they may be sort of, we may have lots of Japanese English customers, but yeah, no, it's definitely a nice apple. But you can obviously buy them in the shop, so in certain shops anyway, so it does sort of defeat the purpose sometimes to grow your own. This is Svar. Svar is a sort of American Dutch apple. It's a very nice late season apple in my opinion. It is a tiny bit sort of soft, so it's soft in the way that when you're playing football, you want to sort of kick a football that's not rock hard. It's got a tiny bit of sponge on the outside. It's a sweet apple. It has a tiny bit of, I'm going to say, like spice to it. Tiny bit. It's not particularly juicy at this stage. It's starting to sort of dry up. But still, I like Svar. Maybe in sort of December it's better than it is in January. But because it's hanging on, you still eat them. Quite a big apple as well. Presumably that was for processing as well once upon a time. As I said, I'm not going to try every apple, but I'll try this one. So this is, let's find a nice one. Yeah, sure, you're quite nice. This is quite a big apple. This is Cheerful Gold, Nuvar Cheerful Gold. It is quite a modern apple, quite local to here from Marden. John Breach's, one of John Breach's new apples. I like this apple. As you can see, it crops loads. What a cropper. And every year they hang on the tree for a very, very long time, which is very good. They don't lose their acidity either. So most apples will sort of peak and then gradually they'll lose their acidity. This one sort of slowly loses it. It becomes slightly softer, slightly less acidic, but it takes a lot longer for that to happen, which is handy. So if you want to pick them off the tree late, you haven't missed anything because it's still going to have the flavor. So having that acidity and that sort of aromatic Cox-like flavor at this late season, this late in the season is really, really good. Yeah, so Cheerful Gold is good. Cheerful is spelt with 2 L's because of the sort of, someone had taken Cheerful with a single L. Apple names get taken up apparently, but don't be put off by that. They weren't thickers. They know how to spell. It's, you know, it's a brand name, but yeah, Cheerful Gold is good. Down here, oh, my fingers are frozen. This is Topaz. Possibly slightly past its best. Quite pretty, new Czech apple, disease resistant. Yeah, slightly past its best. But it has a really rich fruity flavour to it. Yeah, Topaz is good, but slightly past its best. Gosh, I'm going to have to warm my fingers up. These are some cider apples, Tremlitz Bitter. Oh my goodness gracious me, it is cold. Anyway, Down here, we are starting to get lots of migrant birds. I don't know where they've been, but I guess it's not been cold enough this year for them really. But they are going to start arriving when it gets a bit colder in the next few weeks, I reckon, and they will clear up all these apples. So this one on the floor, a bit like that Merton russet that I picked earlier, this is a golden knob. And this I've been eating off the floor every day because I just work over here digging up the trees. And these golden knobs are amazing. So, it's like a baked, because it is really spicy, I'd say, as well. Like, it's flavored with, I mean, it tastes just like, let's say, a really, really nice baked apple, like pie or an apple cake or something. It's very, very nice. So it's slightly nutty. I don't really know what makes it like that, but that is amazing. And the texture, although it's never really super crisp, it holds pretty firm on the ground. That is a lovely apple. Golden knob. That was good. Just it. Yeah, I've been eating those quite often off the floor in the last few weeks. As I said, the birds will come at some stage and they will clear this all up. But in the recent years, due to climate factors, potentially they are not arriving in their numbers early enough. I don't know, maybe it's so warm they're just, instead of, they're coming from Scandinavia, so maybe they just end up in I don't know, what's the slightly more northern part. Maybe they're just up in Scotland, who knows. This is Christmas Pippin. So Christmas Pippin is quite a sweet apple. It's a new apple. I think you can get it from Frank P. Matthews. Yeah, it's sweet, it's sort of soft at this stage. There is a slight element of, tastes a bit like Nouveau Freckles actually, or a tiny bit like Freiburg, but not as sweet. It's okay, it's quite pretty as well. Obviously a late season apple. Ooh, gosh, there's a badger hole there. This one, it's not going to be great anymore. This is one of my favourites. This is Norfolk Royal Russet. Yeah, why not? I'll try it. Oh, the flesh is still white. Yeah, it's gone. Gone. Tastes like cider. I'm gonna get drunk before I start work today. I suppose it's a Saturday though, so that's acceptable. Unless you are Muslim, I guess. Which I'm not. Yeah, you can see some bird activity here. Some birds. Yeah, there were some redwings here the other day. I heard them. This is Pinova. I don't know if I've stopped on this actually. I don't like that apple. This one is. Yeah, I like this one. This is Ruckler. Ruckler's actually past its prime. I know this for sure, but I'll try it anyway. I'm trying to breed with Ruckler this year. See if it's any good. All these new modern varieties. See if they're any good for breeding with. So I wanted to come to this tree here. This tree here has loads of apples still on it, and if anyone is interested in Irish apples, I've picked all the good ones to eat already. I suppose this one's fine. Irish apples, this one is called Sam Young, and it's a very nice late season apple. It is still nice and firm. It is an interesting looking apple with its big open eye at the base. Oh, not the apex even. Well, flavour wise, it is a very unusual flavour. They're nice and small, so you can eat loads of them. I like it a lot. It's got a bit of acidity. It's sweet, it's full of flavour as well, so the flavour hasn't been diminished you know, by the cold at this time of the year. It's very fruity. I don't know what it is. But yeah, the tree's absolutely loaded with them. I'm just going to pick this one. So that was Sam Young. Terrible camera work. Hey, it's obviously past its best. But this next door neighbour is Freiburg, which is one of my favourite apples and is still very sweet. This was the only one left and it's been pecked to death by birds, but yeah, that is still amazing. So Freiburg is a very, very sweet apple. And if you think of sweet apples, you might think, okay, well, they don't have acidity, so the flavour isn't balanced. This one just about ticks the box. And you can see the birds love this. Look at that. Zoom. Look at that. The birds love it, and there's one behind it as well. The birds absolutely love this apple. Yeah, it is so nice and sweet, and it's still got good texture. Still got good bite to it. There's a slight bit of acidity, but I think the thing is, it has got a slight bit of acidity, but it's hidden by so much sweetness. This one off the floor looks amazing. I mean, ignore that, but I'd still eat this. On the floor it's frozen a bit more. But yeah, these Sam Youngs are lovely. I would recommend, if you want a late season apple, try getting a Sam Young tree. Definitely worth it. Okay, we'll quickly race up the track now. I don't think there's going to be that much more to try. Rubinette's still on the tree. It feels a bit wrinkly, so apples do start to go a bit wrinkly when they've been sort of frozen a few times. My skin looks wrinkly too. I'm not that old. Yeah, it still tastes really good. Rubinette's still very good. It's starting to get a sort of... They do get an element of white wine flavour to them apples at this stage. I'm not saying that they've turned into cider. A very pleasant white wine flavour, I must say. Maybe like poured, but very grapey. So that is lovely right now. I'm interested in aromatic russet now. How is aromatic russet? It's gone a bit soft. It is a bit soft. You can see I'm not making that up. Very nice. Goodness. What is that? Bit pineapple-y, but a bit more like what fruit is that? Like strawberry or something. It tastes like sweets. It tastes like Haribo. It tastes like Tangfastics actually. So for anyone who doesn't know what Haribo Tangfastics are, get on a plane and come to England. No, you probably want it's like fizzy cherry sweets actually, or watermelon or something. These are really nice. That was aromatic russet. It is a bit soft obviously at this stage, but the flavour has not lost. So a lot of these apples have lost their flavour completely. This has not. Cool. Wow. Okay. In comparison, this is a boring old Braeburn. Bloody boring Braeburn. Yep. I mean, it looks like it's there to... I mean, it's just a cricket ball. It looks like it's there to hurt people. I can't even I can, but that's with my nail because I haven't cut my nail. I can't really pierce this. This is tough. It's crispy. Ooh. Now, you might be able to see it. It froze inside, I think, this apple at some stage. And it's lost its boring Braeburn flavour, and it does just taste like, well, it's like cider, but it tastes a bit like wine now. It's quite nice. It's improved. It's that, you know when they say white wine has like a peachy flavour to it? This tastes like peachy white wine, actually. I do feel I'm getting hammered off this. Who knew? Braeburn, if you leave it on the tree long enough, it turns into a peachy white wine. Wow. I finally understand Braeburn. That's why it's good. Somehow that's actually one of the best apples of the day. It's somehow, mate, aromatic russet was good, but this is, I could eat this all day actually. But do I recommend growing Braeburn in this? Well, in England, not really, because it doesn't really ripen. But if you can wait until January, it does this weird thing where it turns into peachy white wine, which I don't know. That's good. That's fun. I'm putting that in the pocket. This is Calville Blanc d'Hiver. So you can see these yellow apples get these sort of red spots on, which are kind of fun. That's obviously not supposed to be there. But other than that, it's pretty boring just being yellow. So maybe, so that's what they usually look like. This is them sort of getting their last hurrah of colour. I like the look at them at this stage. They do look a bit sickly, but yeah, like danger, don't eat me. Urgh. Yeah, this is obviously a cooking apple, but no, it's gone. It's gone way too soft. Some of the so English cooking apples tend to be very sharp and acidic. European, American cooking apples tend to be sweeter because they don't mush up as much. Clever stuff that. They're not as acidic. So acidity means that you get a fluffed up sort of Bramley type apple or a codlin thing, whereas if it's a sweet cooking apple, where it's kind of a dual purpose apple really, they don't mush up as much, so you can turn them into sort of classic American pie, sort of chunky apple sort of things when you cook them. This is Shenandoah. I don't think this will be good anymore unless it turns into white wine flavour. No, I mean, this was an undersized one. That's why there's so many left on the tree. These are all the sort of mini ones, but oh no, that's not good. Sturma pipim. This is a very well known late season apple in England here. I think it may be a nonpareil seedling of some sort. And there's a spider. Go away. Pardon me. That has still got its acidity. It's very pleasant at this time of the year. The texture is slightly soft, but it is still slightly juicy, and because it's acidic, that is an extremely pleasant apple to eat at this time of the year. I keep saying at this time of the year, terms and conditions, but it's the reason is lots of the apples, as I say, lose their acidity, turn into sort of watery things where you can just about sort of taste the skin, and in your mouth it doesn't taste great. This is still very nice. Has a Cox type flavour, slightly on the more acidic side. Texture is fine, you know, it's not It's not Fuji, it's not Gold Rush, but it is what it should be, really. That is really good. Sturma Pippin, I highly recommend this. This isn't sort of some trickery like that Braeburn, which I think I've still got it in my pocket. Yeah, I do. Oh, it's got this sort of initial boring, and then suddenly here comes peachy wine flavour. That is cool. But no, Sturma Pippin, back to my sales pitch, Sturma Pippin's really nice. You should grow a Sturma Pippin if you want a late season apple, along with something like a Sam Young. This is the actual Golden Delicious. Who knows, Golden Delicious might develop some sort of champagne flavour too. No, it's just lost its flavour. It's effectively just water. It's just a little water flavour. This is terrible camera work. No, this is Tideman's Late Orange. I don't know if this one's going to be any good. I'll try that one. Again, I don't know how good that will be, but yeah, Tideman's Late Orange hangs around for a while. No, it's gone tough. That was actually off the tree, or just wedged on the tree. Why not? I'll try one off the floor. Ta-da! Bit of mud on it. Mud tastes good. Yeah, that's much better. It's very sweet. Nice Cox type flavour. So if you want a late season Cox, Tideman's Late Orange is very good. Pardon me. Granny Smith. What happens to this one? Who knows? I might pick the yellow one actually. Granny Smith. What magical transformation is this one? Gone under. I don't know what's done that to me. That's just tough skin. Inside it's okay, it's sweet at this stage. The skin feels about an inch thick. Like you really have to chew this. Yeah, the skin tastes like Granny Smith actually. It's a really thick Granny Smith-like skin. So all that flavour is actually in the skin. The actual flesh inside is sweet. A bit boring, but it's no Braeburn wine, peachy wine flavour. Okay, coming up to the last one I'll do will be Crimson Crisp. It is crimson, it is crisp. But is it still crisp? That's the question. I mean, if they've called it Crimson Crisp, then it loses its crispness, or crispicity, as I was going to say, which isn't a word. Then I think you have to change the name, Mr. Crimson Crisp. Yeah, fair enough. It's still crisp. It is very pleasant, actually. In that it's juicy. Initially it has a sweetness, and then immediately nothing. Pleasing sort of creamy yellow flesh inside, which is nice. So we'll end the video on that. Thanks very much for watching. I'm freezing. I'm going to go back to digging up trees. I will probably not do another one of these videos for this season. That's it. Hopefully I've not somehow flipped the camera around during the video either. I'm just really cold. I've not really paid much attention to camera work today. Good stuff today. Sam Young was nice. That Braeburn thing was hilarious. Aromatic Russet was good. Golden Knob's good. The Merton Russet was very good. Cheerful Gold is very good. Sturma Pippin is very nice at this time of the year. This is obviously late season. Some years, if you have an extremely cold snap in sort of December, you lose all the apples. That's fair enough. Some years don't have a cold snap in the southeast of England. You can still eat the apples in February. You can still eat the apples in March. And I've once eaten apples in April which are still on the tree and they were okay, and that's just before the buds want to open up. So yeah, I'm going back to work, back to the old farm over there, or anywhere, and then yeah, back to breeding apples. So I've got some seedlings on the go. They're still stratifying in the fridge. Hopefully they will grow soon, and then it's the quest for apple immortality. Which one of the seeds will, well, effectively live forever? If it's a good apple seed, and they don't know, I don't know at this stage, but one of them may outlive me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and tell your friends to buy trees from me, and I guess watch these videos. Bye bye.